In this video, we'll be taking a look at 4 college basketball games happening on February 11, 2025, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 8 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 4 college basketball games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Tennessee versus Kentucky. The Tennessee Volunteers are set to travel to Rupp Arena in Lexington, Kentucky, where they will face off against the Kentucky Wildcats in a pivotal Southeastern Conference matchup. The Volunteers, currently ranked 4th in the nation, hold an impressive 20-4 overall record and are making a strong push for a potential #1 seed in the upcoming NCAA tournament. Meanwhile, the Wildcats, ranked 14th, recently snapped a losing streak with a victory on Saturday and are looking to bolster their postseason resume with a significant win against Tennessee. Tuesday's slate of college basketball games offers plenty of intriguing matchups, but one of the most compelling is the rematch between Tennessee and Kentucky. This showdown presents one of my favorite betting opportunities on the schedule. The last time these two teams met, just a couple of weeks ago in Knoxville, the Wildcats stunned the Volunteers with a 78-73 upset victory. What made this outcome particularly surprising was that Kentucky was dealing with multiple injuries to key players, yet still managed to come out on top despite being double-digit underdogs. When the teams meet again on Tuesday at Rupp Arena, Kentucky will once again be without several key players, but the betting line has adjusted significantly. Initially, the Wildcats were slight 1-point favorites, but sharp bettors have quickly influenced the odds, shifting the line to Tennessee as a 2-point favorite. I strongly believe that Kentucky's previous victory over Tennessee was more of an anomaly than a true reflection of the team's abilities. The Volunteers struggled mightily with their shooting in that contest, something that has been an unfortunate but occasional characteristic of Rick Barnes' coached teams. However, Kentucky does not typically excel at forcing their opponents into poor shooting performances, making Tennessee's off night more of a self-inflicted issue. Additionally, the rebounding battle was evenly split, even though Tennessee should theoretically have an advantage on the boards. The Volunteers also uncharacteristically underperformed on the defensive end. Given these factors, I expect to see a course correction in this rematch. Since entering Southeastern Conference play, Kentucky has been an inconsistent 5-5, showing signs that their early season hot streak under new head coach Mark Pope may have been unsustainable. A key vulnerability for Kentucky this season has been their man-to-man defense, which has been exposed on multiple occasions. Tennessee has the personnel to exploit this weakness, especially with Ziegler orchestrating the offense. In the previous meeting, Tennessee did several things well enough to win the game. They outscored Kentucky in bench points, dominated in points in the paint, and capitalized on second-chance opportunities. The primary reason for their downfall was Kentucky's surprising accuracy from beyond the arc. The Wildcats converted 43% of their three-point attempts, an impressive feat against a Tennessee squad that boasts the best three-point defense in the Southeastern Conference. However, such an outlier performance is unlikely to be repeated, and Tennessee will likely focus on limiting Kentucky's clean looks from deep in this rematch. The current betting line appears to be influenced by Kentucky's previous win and the shift in venue to Rupp Arena, but I view this as an opportunity to back what I consider to be the superior team at a discounted number. While I anticipate a close and competitive game, I am confident that Tennessee's elite defense, ranked 1st in the nation, will deliver in key moments down the stretch, enabling them to secure the victory. So the Tennessee Volunteers to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Volunteers will look to avoid another high-scoring affair against Kentucky, as their attempt to keep pace in an offensive shootout during the first matchup ultimately led to their downfall. Instead, Tennessee will focus on slowing the game down to their preferred tempo, which has been a major factor in their success this season. The under has cashed in 6 of the last 10 meetings between these two programs, and the Volunteers will aim to enforce their deliberate style of play in this rematch. Currently, Tennessee ranks 336th in the nation in pace of play, emphasizing their preference for a methodical and defensive-minded approach. They lead the Southeastern Conference in scoring defense, field goal defense, and three-point defense, making it highly unlikely that Kentucky will replicate their 40% shooting performance from beyond the arc in this second encounter. While I have confidence in Kentucky's offensive capabilities, I do not foresee them producing another explosive scoring performance against Tennessee's stifling defense. The Volunteers will be determined to control the tempo, relying on their elite defensive unit to dictate the pace of the game. Tennessee currently holds the top spot in the country in adjusted defensive efficiency, allowing just 86 points per 100 possessions. Additionally, they are among the slowest-paced teams in the nation, ranking 336th in adjusted tempo with an average of just 63.8 possessions per game. Expect Tennessee to embrace a gritty, defensive battle where points will be hard to come by. This matchup is likely to be played at a much slower pace compared to their previous encounter, with both teams struggling to generate easy scoring opportunities. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Purdue versus Michigan. The stage is set for an intense Big Ten showdown on the basketball court as the 7th-ranked Purdue Boilermakers make the trip to the Great Lakes State to square off against the 20th-ranked Michigan Wolverines on Tuesday night. Purdue is coming off an impressive performance in their most recent outing, where they dominated the USC Trojans with a decisive 90-72 victory at home last Friday night. The Boilermakers not only secured the win, but also managed to cover the betting line as 13-point favorites. Meanwhile, Michigan enters this contest following a narrow 70-67 road victory over Indiana on Saturday. Despite securing the win, the Wolverines were unable to cover the spread as 3.5-point favorites. Historically, Purdue has held the upper hand in this rivalry, leading the all-time series by a slight margin of 25-22. The Boilermakers have asserted their dominance in recent matchups, winning the last 3 meetings between these teams. Their most recent encounter took place on January 24th, where Purdue delivered a commanding 91-64 home victory over Michigan, further solidifying their advantage in this head-to-head series. Purdue has been performing exceptionally well on the offensive end of the floor in recent weeks, putting up impressive scoring numbers in their recent contests. Over the course of their last 4 games, the Boilermakers have managed to score at least 81 points in each contest, with 3 of those outings featuring point totals that exceeded 90. This offensive efficiency includes their previous dominant win over Michigan, further showcasing their ability to rack up points at a high rate. On the other hand, the Wolverines have responded well since their previous loss to Purdue, putting together a 4-game winning streak. However, each of those victories has come in tightly contested matchups. Michigan edged Penn State by 4 points at home, secured a 3-point win over Rutgers on the road, held off Oregon with another 4-point home win, and narrowly defeated Indiana by 3 points at home. While these close wins provide valuable experience for the Wolverines as they prepare for the NCAA tournament, it will be a significant challenge for them to contain Purdue's high-powered offense, given the array of offensive weapons the Boilermakers bring to the court. Considering the one-sided nature of the last meeting between these two teams and Michigan's struggles to cover the spread in their last 7 games, it is difficult to make a strong case in favor of the Wolverines in this matchup. Playing on their home court should allow Michigan to keep the game more competitive than the previous meeting, but there remains plenty of room for them to improve the margin without necessarily securing an outright victory. Purdue has been covering spreads effectively in their recent outings, including a -6.5-point spread against Iowa in a 90-81 win and a -13 spread in their 90-72 win over USC. The Boilermakers have maintained their momentum and are showing no signs of slowing down, making it unlikely that they will suddenly falter in this contest. Michigan, despite their recent success at home, will likely suffer their first home loss of the season as Purdue completes the season sweep with another convincing victory. So the Purdue Boilermakers to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Both teams have demonstrated a tendency to push games over the projected total this season, and this matchup has all the makings of another high-scoring affair. Their previous meeting last month saw a combined 155 points scored, reinforcing the expectation that this game will feature plenty of offensive fireworks. Purdue boasts one of the most efficient offenses in the country, ranking 4th in field goal percentage, 31st in three-point shooting, 7th in offensive efficiency, and 12th in effective field goal percentage at 56.7%. Additionally, they rank 87th in turnover percentage, keeping their miscues to a minimum at just 16%. Michigan, meanwhile, has been similarly effective on the offensive end, ranking 4th in field goal percentage, 23rd in offensive efficiency, 7th in effective field goal percentage at 57.3%, and 6th in two-point shooting at an impressive 59.5%. However, one of Michigan's major weaknesses is their tendency to turn the ball over, as they rank a concerning 332nd in turnover percentage at 20.5%. The Wolverines also play at an up-tempo pace, ranking 55th in the nation in tempo, averaging 69.7 possessions per game. The betting line for this matchup is only half a point higher than it was for their previous encounter, a game in which the total comfortably surpassed the 150-point mark with a final score of 91-64. Since that meeting, Purdue has continued to hit the over in each of their last 3 games, and the trend of high-scoring affairs has remained consistent. In fact, the over has a strong track record in recent matchups between these two teams, going 4-0 in their last 4 meetings. Additionally, in each of the last 3 matchups, the projected total has remained within 2 points of 150.5, further indicating the likelihood of another high-scoring battle. With both teams performing well offensively in recent games, expect this contest to go over the total as they continue to light up the scoreboard. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Connecticut versus Creighton. The Connecticut Huskies are set to face off against the Creighton Blue Jays in an exciting Big East showdown. Connecticut comes into this matchup looking to bounce back after suffering a disappointing home loss to St. John's in their most recent outing. Meanwhile, Creighton is riding high following an impressive home victory against Marquette on Saturday. When these two teams met for the first time this season, the Blue Jays secured a solid 68-62 road win, giving them an edge heading into this rematch. The Connecticut Huskies have not been as dominant this season compared to their previous campaigns. They have struggled with consistency, managing only a 3-3 record over their last 6 games. In contrast, the Creighton Blue Jays have been in top form, boasting an incredible 9-game winning streak. Their reliability extends beyond just winning games, as they have been one of the most dependable teams for bettors, successfully covering the spread in 10 consecutive contests. Defensively, there is a clear gap between the two teams. Connecticut's defense has been subpar, allowing 104 points per 100 possessions. Meanwhile, Creighton has established itself as one of the strongest defensive teams in the nation, conceding just 96.5 points per 100 possessions, ranking 30th in Division I in adjusted defensive efficiency. The Blue Jays have also been particularly dominant when playing at home, with 6 of their last 8 conference victories coming by margins of 9 points or more. Their ability to lock down opponents and win convincingly makes them an imposing challenge for Connecticut. The saying goes that good teams win, but great teams cover the spread. Creighton exemplifies this, as they are not only undefeated in their last 9 games, but have also covered the spread in all 10 of their most recent matchups in 2025. While no streak lasts forever, it is difficult to see Connecticut being the team to snap this one. The Huskies have struggled against the spread, covering in just 3 of their last 12 games. Even in their previous matchup against the Blue Jays, they fell 3 points short of covering. Considering the trajectory of both teams since their last meeting, there is little reason to believe things will improve for Connecticut. For Creighton to cover, they only need to win by 3 points, which seems more than reasonable given their recent performances. Since their last matchup against the Huskies, the Blue Jays have won 4 of their 6 games by double-digit margins, further reinforcing their dominance. At this point, it is becoming evident that this Connecticut squad is not the same powerhouse as in past seasons. While they may find their stride when the tournament arrives and make a strong push for a three-peat, this particular game does not appear to be the one where they turn things around. Creighton has been rolling, especially at home, and they have consistently proven themselves against the top teams in the Big East. Given their current form and ability to perform under pressure, it is difficult to bet against them. So the Creighton Blue Jays to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Despite their struggles, Connecticut remains a formidable threat on the offensive end. They are a team that heavily relies on three-point shooting, attempting a high volume of shots from beyond the arc and converting at an impressive 36.6% clip. This offensive firepower allows them to challenge even strong defensive teams like Creighton, especially considering they rank 11th in Division I in adjusted offensive efficiency. Creighton, however, also embraces a three-point heavy approach, averaging 28 attempts from beyond the arc per game. This offensive strategy is particularly significant given Connecticut's vulnerability in defending perimeter shots. The Huskies are ranked a lowly 318th in three-point defense, which could spell trouble against a team like Creighton that excels at knocking down shots from deep. Additionally, the Blue Jays have been thriving offensively at home, averaging 81.5 points per game over their last 4 home contests, including an explosive 86-point performance in a victory over Xavier. Given both teams' tendencies to take and make three-pointers at a high rate, this game has all the makings of a high-scoring affair. I expect a fast-paced contest with a barrage of points from both sides. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Alabama versus Texas. The Crimson Tide are set to travel to the great state of Texas, where they will face off against one of the newest additions to the Southeastern Conference, the Texas Longhorns. Alabama, currently ranked third in the nation, boasts an impressive overall record of 20-3 and has suffered just a single loss in conference play this season. Meanwhile, Texas finds itself in a critical position as it fights to secure a spot in the NCAA tournament, carrying a respectable but less dominant record of 15-9. Coming into this high-stakes matchup, Alabama holds the number 2 ranking in the nation and is riding the momentum of a 6-game winning streak. However, this game presents a challenge as they will be playing on the road, which always adds an extra layer of difficulty. The Crimson Tide have been one of the most potent offensive teams in college basketball this season, averaging an impressive 90 points per game. Despite their offensive firepower, they have experienced some nail-biting road contests in recent weeks, winning each of their last 3 away games by a margin of 5 points or fewer. On the other side, Texas has been struggling as of late, losing 3 of its last 4 games. Defensive woes have plagued the Longhorns, as they have allowed 86 and 78 points in their last 2 contests. Their struggles in conference play are evident, with a disappointing 4-7 record against Southeastern Conference opponents this season. Alabama has been nothing short of dominant throughout the season, compiling a stellar 20-3 straight-up record and winning all 20 of those games by at least 4 points. The Crimson Tide have displayed an ability to control games from start to finish, consistently proving their superiority over opponents. In contrast, Texas continues to face difficulties, as reflected by its underwhelming 1-3 straight-up record over its last 4 outings. The Tide also hold a statistical advantage on the boards, boasting a superior rebounding rate of 54.6% compared to Texas' 51.6%. If the Longhorns fail to secure rebounds against Alabama's high-flying squad, they could find themselves overwhelmed in this matchup. Furthermore, Texas' defensive unit has not been particularly effective this season, making it even more difficult for them to contain Alabama's elite offensive attack. Despite their recent struggles, the Longhorns will undoubtedly be motivated for this matchup, as they have demonstrated an ability to compete with top-tier teams when playing at their best. However, their current form is concerning, having dropped 3 of their last 4 contests, including a disappointing loss to Arkansas despite entering that game as clear favorites. Alabama, on the other hand, has been significantly more reliable on both ends of the floor and has been particularly strong away from home, securing 7 road victories this season. The Crimson Tide lead all of college basketball in scoring, and although their up-tempo style of play allows opponents to put up points, they still rank within the top 60 in defensive field goal percentage. Texas has struggled defensively when facing high-caliber competition, which could spell trouble for them against an offensive juggernaut like Alabama. Currently riding a 6-game winning streak, Alabama has also been exceptional on the road, hosting a 7-1 record in away contests. Their dominance in the paint will likely be a key factor in this matchup, as they rank 3rd in the conference in rebounding and are coming off a season-high 56 points in the paint against Arkansas, a team that recently defeated Texas on its home court. Alabama's offensive versatility will eventually stretch Texas' defense to its limits. The Longhorns will need to provide additional help in the paint to slow down Alabama's interior scoring, which will, in turn, create open perimeter opportunities for the Crimson Tide's sharpshooters. Alabama ranks 2nd in the Southeastern Conference in 3-point field goals made per game, while Texas ranks just 12th in the conference in 3-point defense. This imbalance is likely to lead to a difficult night for the Longhorns. Additionally, Alabama capitalizes on defensive opportunities, leading the Southeastern Conference in turnover margin, whereas Texas ranks a disappointing 11th in that category. With so many statistical advantages in their favor, Alabama appears to have a significant edge in this matchup, creating what could be a sizable mismatch when the teams take the floor on Tuesday night. In essence, if I can take Alabama and lay just a possession's worth of points, I'm going to do so. So the Alabama Crimson Tide to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Alabama leads the Southeastern Conference in scoring this season, ranking 3rd in field goal percentage and 2nd in 3-point field goals made per game. Their offensive production has been consistent, as they have put up at least 85 points in each of their last 5 road games leading into this contest against Texas. The Crimson Tide also excel in key statistical areas that dictate the tempo of a game, ranking 1st in the Southeastern Conference in turnover margin and 3rd in rebounding. These strengths will allow them to control the pace, and given that Alabama plays at the fastest pace in the country, they will likely push Texas into a high-scoring affair. The Longhorns' best hope of staying competitive in this game is to keep up with Alabama offensively. This matchup presents another scenario where Alabama should have little trouble reaching the upper 80s in scoring, and it wouldn't be surprising if they eclipse the 90-point mark. The Crimson Tide ranked third in the nation in adjusted offensive efficiency, scoring an incredible 126 points per 100 possessions. They will be going up against a Texas defense that, while respectable, ranks just 43rd in adjusted efficiency, allowing 98 points per 100 possessions. While this is a solid mark, it does not appear to be good enough to slow down an offensive powerhouse like Alabama. Adding to the challenge for Texas is Alabama's blistering pace of play. The Tide lead the nation in tempo, averaging 74.1 possessions per 40 minutes. Meanwhile, Texas' biggest strength lies in its offense, which ranks 36th in adjusted efficiency at 117.5 points per 100 possessions. Given the pace at which Alabama operates, Texas will have no choice but to adapt and play at a faster speed, which could lead to an explosive, high-scoring contest. Given these factors, I am not going to overanalyze this one. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.